This lesson goes with the one about selecting type and objects. We discovered there that sometimes an object can get lost behind another one or get in the way of another one. The Layers feature is one that you'll find in many Adobe applications, and it works pretty much the same in each. Once you start using layers, you'll wonder how you ever manage without them. This example page has some regular text type, and it has a yellow box that we'll call a sidebar. And the yellow box has type and an image in front of it. And then there's this logo off to the side that needs to be centered in the box. It's supposed to be behind the type and the image, but in front of the yellow box. So I'm going to drag it over there and put it pretty much in place. And it's in front of everything, so that is not too good. I'm going to try to move it back. In the Object menu, we go to Arrange, and I'm going to send backward. But now it's only partially behind what it needs to be behind, so that's not too good. I'm going to try again. Object, Arrange, and send to back. Oh, but now it's gone behind everything. I'm going to undo that and get that out of the way. At this point, I want to start using layers. So we just go over here and get the Layers panel, and we notice that Layer 1 is in place already. Every single InDesign project you will ever work on starts with a Layer 1 that is the default. And you see this little blue line here. That is the color of the frame of everything that is on that layer. Probably up to this point, everything you've ever worked on in InDesign has a blue frame, right? That's because it's on Layer 1. I want to create another layer. So all I do is click on this icon down here that says Create New Layer. And there's Layer 2. See, it has a red line. That means everything that is on Layer 2 is going to have a red frame around it. But I like to name all my layers, so before I go any farther, I'm going to do that. Just double click on the name Layer 2 and name it something else. I'm going to name it Sidebar and Logo. Now you see it has red here as the default color for that layer, but there are many other colors to choose from. If everything on this layer was already red, I wouldn't really want those things to have a red frame. So if everything was red, I would change and maybe have a cyan frame or a burgundy frame, something that contrasts with the red. That's a useful thing to know about. Now I'm also going to name the other layer while I'm at it so that they're all named. Now how am I going to get this logo and this yellow box into the sidebar layer? It's very simple. I select them, I grab this little blue box here and drag it to the layer I want them to be in. So now they're in the correct layer, and you can see they have the red frames. That's terrific, except for the problem that they are in the way now. They're in the front. We want them to be behind. That's also very simple to fix. Simply grab the name of the layer and drag it down. Any layer that is above another is going to be in front. So the type layer is now in front, the sidebar and logo layer is behind. And the sidebar and logo still have red frames or bounding boxes, and the type still has blue. Now I'm going to drag the logo into place. And in preview mode especially, you can tell that the logo is behind the image and the type, but in front of the yellow box, right where we want it. Now I'm going to lock this sidebar layer. Simply click on this little lock box. And see, it has a line through the pen, meaning that I can't work in that box. I'm going to highlight the type box so that I can perhaps resize that photo, change the size of the type, drag the text frame around, and get things right just into place without having to worry that this yellow box is going to be in the way or be selected by accident. Now I can switch and lock the type box, work in the sidebar box, and move this logo around or size it or whatever needs to be done. And that is how layers work. They're very, very nifty, so useful. And after you've used layers for a bit, I bet you're going to start looking at other designs of any kind, book covers or whatever, and visualize the layers that the designer used to create them. It'll be very obvious to you once you've started using them. Now, if you haven't watched it yet, perhaps you should also view the lesson on selecting objects and type. Thanks for watching this little lesson about layers.